the Man in the Cage MMA and Combat Sports Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Another EA Sports UFC 4 simulation coming your way on the Man in the Cage MMA and Combat Sports Podcast. UFC 261 fight day. So pumped for it. So pumped for this main event to see what happens the second time around, of course. The first time around, Kamaru Usman made somewhat easy work of Masvidal in a unanimous decision, but this time around, Masvidal, of course, no 6 days notice on this fight and should have a little bit more time and a better game plan to prepare for Kamaru Usman. Masvidal making his way to the octagon, and is that It's Dark and Hell is Hot by DMX? Is that what he's walking out to? I think that might be. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, EA Sports probably doesn't have rights to that song, so I don't think it is. But maybe Masvidal will do that tonight. R.I.P. to DMX, right? Rest in peace. But, of course, Masvidal, a Florida guy. DMX, a New York guy. This fight in Florida, so Masvidal will have somewhat of a home crowd advantage, you would think, tonight. You would think just a little bit, fighting mostly almost in his backyard right here. But I'm sure there still will be some Kamaru Usman supporters in the stands. And, for this fight tonight, game plan-wise, it'll be interesting because I don't think Kamaru Usman's going to really change that much up. I think he's going to do mostly similar things that he did the first time around, and we'll see if the video game agrees with that here. I do think he's going to have a heavy wrestling game plan. I think that's probably what he's going to try to bank on. For Jorge Masvidal, that'll be the more interesting game plan approach of what does he do the second time around. As I just mentioned, and again, you can go back to episode 84 with Luke Lampy. I had him on the other day, and we talked about this fight that, Usman's best path to victory is that wrestling, is that grappling. But Masvidal this time around, he's going to have to switch some things up. He's going to have to try to avoid those clinch situations. He's going to have to try to avoid those and get some of that striking going, get some of those boxing combinations going, or, I don't know, pull something out of the hat like he did with Ben Askren, right? With a flying knee or something. Not saying he's going to flying knee Usman, but you know what I mean. Just pull something different out in this fight to change the course or the outcome of this one. So that will be very interesting tonight when Kamaru Usman steps into the octagon to take on Jorge Masvidal. And as we keep rolling the simulation here, you can see Bruce Buffer back in the octagon here with a full crowd. And by the way, obviously this is this is the video game simulation with a crowd, but we're actually going to have real crowds back tonight, which is amazing. For the first time we had one crowd in Abu Dhabi, right? On Fight Island, we had one. I believe it was only one. Did we have two? We might have two. I can't remember. But we haven't had a crowd in the United States, though, since, March of last year. Since Israel Adesanya took on Yoel Romero, and then also tonight, finally, is Zhang Weili. She took on Joanna Jędrzejczyk on that card, too. One of the best, maybe one of the greatest women's fights of all time. So we haven't had a crowd since then. We get that tonight once again as the UFC touches down in Florida, and then we'll have UFC 262 later, too, next month, May 17th, and we'll also have a full crowd for that one, too. So that is another factor tonight, and I talked again, go back to episode 84, I talked about it with Luke, the factors with that, with the crowds now, judging, certain fighters react different, good and bad to the crowd. So that'll be another element to add in tonight, but it will be good to hear the crowd. It will be good to hear that roar when a punch lands, a takedown lands, any of that good stuff. It will be great to hear the crowd roar once again tonight on UFC 261 in Florida. Back to the game here. So Bruce Buffer, done with his introductions. Herb Dean, the referee for this one, going to give the fighters their final instructions. Let's see if both these guys touch gloves or not. Some animosity, of course, between these two. Oh, look at that. Masvidal with the no glove touch. Pulling a Ronda Rousey. Kamaru Usman did have his gloves out. I actually don't think Usman will have his gloves out tonight. I don't think either guy will go for the glove touch. I don't think that'll happen. Masvidal getting ready, pumping up the crowd. Street Jesus, is he going to go for a flying knee in the first 5 seconds? No, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Usman not being as dumb as Ben Askren and shooting a takedown in the first 5 seconds. But this will be where it's, this will be Masvidal's, this will be, the start of the rounds will be where he has to do a lot of his work, I feel. Daniel Cormier always says it. The fight starts standing. So for wrestlers, and right there, Masvidal with it, uppercut, knocks down Kamaru Usman. Oh, and lands another head kick. 3-piece and a soda from Masvidal, and then the takedown from Kamaru Usman. But we saw there, that's what Masvidal's going to have to do. Fight starts standing. He's going to have to come out, really try to get those boxing combinations off on Kamaru Usman before Usman does this. Goes to the ground with him with those takedowns. And now he's just controlling him. And in the half guard, side control. staying in half guard, trying to land some of those body shots. Usman very good with those body shots on the ground. More ground and pound here, and Masvidal in a lot of trouble all of a sudden. Street Jesus might need to pray right now, because Kamaru Usman's putting a beating on him, and this does not look. This is Jorge Masvidal's worst nightmare, especially tonight. Now, Masvidal did an okay job the first fight, getting back to his feet at certain points, but if Kamaru Usman can make some of his adjustments, and that's probably where he needs to make his, right in these situations, got him in a crucifix now. If he can do some of these things tonight, maybe he could find a finish with some ground and pound against Jorge Masvidal. But Masvidal doesn't have much jiu-jitsu, doesn't have much submission, doesn't have a big submission game off his back, so it'll be up to him to just try to get back to his feet. And now he's mounted by Kamaru Usman, and he's a lot of trouble. Looks like Usman might finish the fight here, but he's actually going to shrimp a little bit, give up his back. This would be Kamaru Usman's best case tonight against Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal really bleeding now, and I think this fight's going to end pretty soon here between Usman and Jorge Masvidal, as he can't get out of. He's just mounted, and you can't get Usman off of him at this point. I don't think this will actually happen tonight. The video game playing it out a little differently than I see it right now. I think Masvidal won't get dominated like this, maybe in the first round. I mean, we'll see. Again, maybe Usman makes those adjustments, but I do think, there it is. Usman with the knockout. Herb Dean stops it. Ground and pound finish, first round. What was that, about 4 minutes of the first round, something like that? So, the video game EA Sports UFC 4, there you have it. They have Kamaru Usman winning by knockout. And by the way, we just simulated this one time. Maybe in the future we'll go multiple times, but we've just been simulating this one time. There's nobody controlling these fighters, by the way. Again, I should mention that. But the video game, they're having Kamaru Usman in a bit of trouble early in the first round, eating some shots, getting knocked down, but then shoots the takedown, controls him with that grappling, controls a bunch of dominant positions, top control, wins with the ground and pound, knocks him out. So that's how EA Sports UFC 4 has it. I have it a little different, like I said again. I don't think Jorge Masvidal is going to get dominated like that in the first round, grappling-wise. I think eventually Masvidal could maybe at some point get a little tired, but I see Usman probably getting a decision over Masvidal. I think that's probably the more likely scenario. And for Masvidal, decision's going to be hard for him. It's probably going to have to be do damage in order to get that decision or get the knockout. But that was fun once again here. EA Sports UFC 4. Kamaru Usman gets the win over Jorge Masvidal. Again, they step into the octagon later tonight. In real life, of course, UFC 261 on pay-per-view. Go back to episode 84. Check that out. My preview with Luke Lampy of the full card. A couple other title fights as well on this card that also very, very good. You have Valentina Shevchenko taking on Jessica Andrade, and then you have Rose Namajunas taking on Zhang Weili. So 3 good title fights tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed this EA Sports UFC 4 simulation. I'll be back later next week with more of these. We'll simulate some more main events. Until then, everybody, I'll talk to you later.
The Man in the Cage MMA and Combat Sports Podcast.